Welcome to WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. And now, here's your host, Randy Harris.
Welcome to WFPC Podcasting. This is a weekly look at news, information, and the people in and around Pike County. One thing that endeared Pike County to me when I pulled into town was community and caring about each other. 70 years ago, some of the people in the community realized we needed a stronger baseball presence within the community. After all, the best first baseman in Major League Baseball played for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he was from right here. So a few individuals, parents, business owners started meeting above the Voyles IGA Building in Johnny and Virginia's office in what is now the white brick hair salon. Deb Minnis started hauling in sand to what became the American Legion baseball field. Lem and Louise MCClellan started hosting fish fries to raise money. The whole community was involved and ready to play ball for the 1957 season. Today, that community still exists on the American Legion baseball field. When we were starting WFPC podcasting months ago, I was telling the Little League president's husband about the podcast, and he said, we need to promote the Little League at sign-up time. Here we are. And the position of dealing with Randy Harris was dealt 6-7 months ago to Buck Seger. Buck, here we are. Welcome.
Let's do this.
So Buck, we talked about community, and it was community that brought this Little League program here. They didn't have any money. They just started because there was a need for the kids. And what was really popular back then, we didn't have soccer. Football wasn't as big for 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids, and we went with baseball. Today, you've still got that going on down at the Little League field.
We do, yep.
And tell us about it. At the time, you had 4 minor league teams. Those grew into the major league teams. It was competition. I mean, those coaches, those were old baseball guys. I'm thinking Jack Houchins, Bob Schultz, Denver Gladish. You had guys out for blood.
I remember playing in the exact same league whenever I was a kid growing up, and I was really good friends with Dan Ficklin, and so by default, John Ficklin used to, that owns Ficklin Auto. I was always drafted to that team, and there was 4 teams when I first started playing, and you had some rivalries back then. I remember going against Robbie Chestnut, and his dad was a coach, and he's still involved in the baseball. He actually is the high school baseball coach.
I was going to say, he's getting ready to take on a new job.
Yeah. I remember. I think that's the big draw to our Little League here, in that it's the culture that we've had forever, and it all. There's so many memories that come out of those fields. They're more than just the dirt and the grass that's there. It's our childhood.
So at that time, it was they didn't have any money. They just
still don't.
I think it was Chad McClellan's grandma and grandpa started having fish fries to start generating revenue just so they could put teams together. And at that time, I don't think kids had to pay anything.
Yeah, so I remember, I think we had a minor fee whenever I had started playing, but I think that's what, for baseball, it's such a driving force here in America. It's, America's sport, right? And because it's kind of cheap to play, essentially. If you got a glove and a pair of cleats, you can usually show up somewhere and play. So compared to football, you have hundreds of dollars worth of equipment and things like that.
So it's still reasonable for the if the kid doesn't have the money, somebody's going to take care of it.
Yeah, so we have private donors there at the Little League that, like, if a kid wants to play or like some of the families can't afford it, the league will step up. We don't want anybody to do without. So if they don't have the means to show up and pay for it, we'll make it happen.
Now today, as opposed to 1957, which, wow, was 70 years ago, but opposed to that, at the time it was just boys. Now you've got boys and girls.
Yeah.
How many, and you've still got minor league? Explain to us, what's minor league?
So they start as young as like T-ball, like the 3-year-olds are playing T-ball. And then in the last couple of years, Hunter Elliott really kind of took the horse by the reins. A lot of the other leagues around here were starting to do like pitching, like where the coach was actually pitching to the younger kids at like the 6-year-old age group. And we were kind of behind the times a little bit on that. So in the last few years, they've organized where our baseball players, like they're getting to see the live pitching sooner rather than just hitting off a tee. And come tournament time, like we're not trying to play catch up so much. Those kids are already kind of up to speed with where some of the surrounding leagues are with us. And then there's the 8U for baseball. That's where you still have like the coaches pitch and they're pitching to you. And then the 10U, which is where they're branching out on their own and they're throwing the games. And then there's a 12U is the highest that we have out there, which is on the big field. And I think last year we had two teams by the time they got up to the big field. Usually there we're playing like other areas, so like Lagodi, we're playing Oakland City, Princeton, areas around here.
But that's a pretty high level of Little League baseball.
Yeah, it transitions you into the middle school program, where you're playing on the actual high school field.
So how many teams? How many teams do you have down there now?
So last year there was 450 kids signed up total. So and usually we end up having to cap it some at the T-ball because I think there were 6 teams for the T-ball league, and like people want to sign up like later, and it's hard with numbers because you want all kids to get the playing time that they deserve. So it gets to where it's tough to cram in enough games on one field.
Wow. Buck, I want you to hold that thought. We're going to come back to that and we're going to expand some more, but we've got to pay some bills. And we appreciate everybody watching, but WFPC Podcasting is brought to you in part by the Dustin Schnare Agency for Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. They are located right here in Pike County, just south of Illinois Street at 4407 North State Road 61, Petersburg, in that beautiful new freestanding building. Dustin and his capable staff, including Tyler Dillon, help guide you through the process of insurance, whether it's home, auto, farm, commercial, or life insurance. The folks at Dustin Schnare Agency in Petersburg are here to help with confidence that stands behind Indiana Farm Bureau. And you know where to find them. They're right here. You see them in the community, and it's so much more personable than a phone or an email agent where you're just punching numbers on that phone. Dustin has been in business here since February of 2009. To top that, I've known Dustin since he was in high school. It seems like he's always been a part of my life. He and his wife Kelly have 2 beautiful daughters, Riley and Stella, who we've watched grow up, and they are part of the staff at the Dustin Schnare Agency. So call or text 812-766-1117 or stop in at their beautiful new office.
We'll be right back. But first, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors.
This is Kyle Hathaway with Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard. We have the equipment and crew to take care of your earth moving needs, septic installs, and digging out what you need dug out. We also deliver rock, and we maintain and pump septics. We're just a couple miles away. Call Hathaway Excavating at 812-582-2646.
And when you wash your car or vehicle on a regular basis, there are many advantages. You're easier to see, you preserve the life of your vehicle, help maintain its value, protect its paint, prevent corrosion, and it just looks better. It only takes 6 quarters or your credit card to get it started. Stop by Petersburg Car Wash today. Petersburg Car Wash, home of the springtime yellow Mustang. 401 South 9th Street, Petersburg. Buck, back to you. Keep telling us about Petersburg Little League for the 2026 season.
So we have, in the last couple years, we've gotten some donations and grants to get new scoreboards. I don't know if you remember back when I played the Major League scoreboard, they had the big Coca-Cola scoreboard that was kind of getting run down, and a lot of the lights were not working and it wasn't working great. In the last couple years, we've really went at trying to modernize that. We have new scoreboards on every single field now, and this year there'll be a scoreboard going on the 6U field, because before they haven't had that, but with the kids like actually having to hit off coaches and us playing other teams, they have a scoreboard there now for like when they host tournaments and stuff. So
this morning I was telling Mike Voyles and Mayor Klipsch what our program was about for today. And when the mayor was talking about back in the day, they just had other kids standing up there holding up the signs to put them on the board to say score is now 6-3. But so we've come a long way.
We have come a long way.
How much are those boards now?
So the big ones are around $5,000 each, and so the way they're set up now, the box plugs in, so like it's wireless, so you don't have to run the wires like what you used to have to run on the old scoreboards. And then the ones that we had ordered, they have like a little remote that you can take down to the dugout now. So like somebody doesn't have to sit up in the towers to actually run the scoreboard. You can have somebody, whoever's keeping the book, or a parent that just wants to sit down in the stands can actually run the scoreboard more efficiently than having to sit up. And it can get hot up there sometimes in the summer, and yeah.
When we initially talked about this, you said we need to make sure everybody knows about sign up. Mm-hmm. And you've got 450 kids that are going to be involved this year?
Yeah, so last year there was around 450 kids total that had signed up. Like I said, they've established kind of a hard deadline, which this year it's February 27th is when the hard deadline for kids to register by is. Unfortunately, there's not been as many registers so far. That's kind of where we're trying to push this out, because sometimes people don't get to start thinking about baseball season until like their winter sports are over with.
Got 2 feet of snow that's melting.
You're not exactly thinking about baseball in early February. I get it. So we just kind of wanted to make sure usually people will sign up like kind of last minute. I get it. I have a family. Sometimes life gets in the way, so
shoot from the hip sometimes.
Very much. So when you got 3 kids that are involved in a lot of sports, you just kind of roll with the punches.
Who do we call? Where do we go?
So on the Pike County Youth Baseball Softball on Facebook, there's a link to where they can register, or if people are having difficulty with that, they can get a hold of my wife. Her number's posted there.
Your wife is Camilla?
Camellia, yeah. Yeah.
And her number's on there?
Yeah, it's 812-582-1136 if people need it.
Okay. And she'll get you signed up.
She can help with the sign-up process, yeah.
What?
She's more tech-savvy than I am.
Well, we all need that, don't we?
Yeah.
What what else do you need to tell us about as far as signing up?
So we always need volunteers. The Little League is entirely run on volunteers. And you've got your board and the coaches, and everybody just puts in countless hours. The biggest thing that we struggle with there is concession stand volunteers, and then there's a skills assessment after everybody registers. It's February 28th and March 1st. They need volunteers for running stations for that, because in the past, you can get lopsided teams, because if a kid's never played before, well, they try to do, or we try to set up a skills assessment where you can kind of gauge where some of these kids are to keep the teams fairer. That way they're more competitive games and not, blowouts against ourselves or against other schools as well.
That's a pretty pivotal part of.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. You never want at the Little League level it to be about winning. It should always be about the kids having fun and developing skills. Yeah, and there's no scholarships awarded at Petersburg Little League, for a 10U baseball team. But that helps if they can develop the love for the game and they can carry that with them. Then that does translate into high school, and they'll make the friendships and learn about teamwork and all the other valuable life lessons that comes with being a part of a team. And
what do you still carry today what are you still dealing with today that you learned back during Little League?
I mean, you always have to be able to work with people, right? So at times it can be frustrating, if a teammate makes a mistake or, your backs are against the wall, so to speak, and you're losing a game. That's life. You're always going to have times where things are going to be upsetting, or somebody's not necessarily going to be carrying their weight, or just that type of thing. And when you learned those coping skills and you learn how to deal with that, that's going to help you be a successful adult down the road. I mean, it sounds silly talking about 5 and 6 year old baseballs, but it does. It helps build some of those things that eventually you'll use.
And we'll talk about your job later, but the job you have today, that's dealing with a bunch of kids. 400
and some kids every single day, and I'm in a parent role essentially. Obviously, it's my job to keep them safe and keep them protected, and I take a lot of pride in how I do that. But even more so than just keeping kids safe, building those connections where they feel comfortable coming to you. They feel excited to tell you about their weekend, or they have that adult role model that they can depend on to be able to talk to when there are tough times. I really enjoy seeing that aspect in my job. I love my job. It's very fulfilling to go to work every day.
You are the school resource officer.
I am.
And your boss, you've got a new boss this year.
Oh, Coke.
Kind of hard to deal with.
So he has been a breath of fresh air. I will say, our students in the school, the staff in and around the school, everybody loves what he's brought in. He's a phenomenal guy. It's nice working with him.
Great.
Yeah,
that's what it's
I
all about.
I won't gig him if that's what we're after.
I asked him about the same question.
I remember
about you, and he thought I was teeing one up for him.
He told me. Well, I watched it, but yeah, he took the PC answer there for sure.
It's nice when you can kid around at work. And Hunter, he's probably hard to deal with as well, isn't he?
Oh goodness, no, he's one of my best friends. He's
great as well.
He's good people for sure.
His dad and I kind of banter back and forth for the last 37 years. So,
little connection there.
We are we're going to pay another bill, and WFPC is brought to you in part by Schultz Eye Care. They are located right here in Pike County at 715 South 9th Street, Petersburg. Schultz Eye Care offers comprehensive dilated eye exams, contact exams, a huge selection of frames, glasses, and sunglasses ranging from Nike, Under Armour, Coach, Oakley, and Ray-Bans. Get a second pair of glasses 50% off and a year's supply of contacts at 25% off. Dr. Clint Schultz and his friendly, capable staff have over 40 years experience in the eye care business. 40. Gee, I've known Clint and Holly, his wife, almost that long myself. They are Pike County people, and when it was time for his business to become independent, they chose Petersburg. They've raised their boys, Xavier and Ian, right here. Most of us remember Clint's parents, Rick and Vicky. So when you can keep your business local, it supports your community. And Schultz Eye Care does that. Open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 to 5. And Tuesdays, they close at noon. That's Schultz Eye Care. Buck, back on Little League. What do you see coming out of the 2026 season?
Hopefully a lot of fun for a lot of kids. We, like I said, we got the new scoreboards coming in, or coming in for the 5-6 field that I have to mount up myself. I spend a lot of time out there. I do a lot of mowing and weed eating, and I think it's I like when the season actually starts because I get to see the kids actually playing on the stuff that I've been maintaining for all the winter months and everything else.
That's what you get as the president's surrogate.
I tell you what though, I would rather mow grass than have to finagle all the scheduling and all that other stuff. Yeah, I can at least throw in a set of headphones and listen to an audiobook while I'm mowing. So
or WFPC podcasting.
That's right. Yeah, right? Throw a plug there, huh?
That scheduling, that would be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
There's a lot of so in the last couple years, they've kind of established like Eric Smith. He's the girls, like he's over the softball stuff, and then Brad Redio had kind of taken over the baseball side, so they kind of delegated some of the workout. Last year, Tiffany Nauset had run the concession stand and got all that in order. She stepped away. Her son is moved up to middle school baseball now, so I think it's Megan Howard has stepped back into that role. But they've done really, like, I couldn't name all the volunteers that are helping out. If I tried, I'm sure I would forget somebody. But it's all the hands that are pitching in is what makes it run efficiently. Like,
and just the ones that you've named, and like you say, there are more that we don't want to forget anybody. But yeah, you've got a good support. You've got good support for that program at that.
Oh, yeah, and the coach, all the coaches that pitch in, they prep the fields, they get everything ready. It's not just one or two people running this. This is the entire community that steps up to make things happen.
It's kind of back what we were talking about during the introduction. Mm-hmm. It takes that community to put this program on, and you're always looking for more help and more kids to expand and grow.
Yeah, the biggest thing that it's kind of tough to fill, and I get it. Parents are busy, and they only have so many nights off, when they're chasing around their kids at the little league, this little league field and that little league field, and they got travel ball and things like that. The concession stand, getting the volunteers for the concession stand's been tough. And honestly, that's a pivotal thing, because we lose, like, if we can't sell hot food, and I say if the little league can't sell hot food, they can give up to $150, $200 a night of revenue that would be going back into the little league and fixing infrastructure and paying for gas for the mowers and paying for umpires and stuff like that. Like, that's a big cost that we end up losing out on. So
now, if you want to volunteer and you're past the parenting age, but you just care about the community, you can still be involved, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They can reach out to my wife or myself. Everybody, we're not hard to get a hold of. They can reach out. We'll give you a job. There's no shortage of jobs for people to help out.
And somebody who is recently retired and needs something to do, you've got work for them.
We do.
Concession stands,
umpiring,
mowing,
take over some mowing. Yeah. Yep.
Umpiring. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Coaching. Do you always need help coaching?
We do. And I enjoy when we get like the outside coaches rather than, like the parent style of coaching, because you can run into issues there. We haven't had that too much, but that's when I help out with youth football as well too, right? And did that for several years before my son got there, and that was some of my favorite memories because I didn't have any connection to any of the kids, right? Like it was just basically me doing it for fun, and I think because of that, like they were willing to run through a brick wall for me if we needed it. We had several successful years. I think you get that some when you have some of that outside coaching step in and just bring knowledge that, other than just the parent coaching them or, it's not my dad coaching me. This is a whole nother set of eyes. So
right. And that's significant. And I hadn't really thought about that. But and we've got a lot of talent right here within the community on people who can fill those roles.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge that if they feel like giving back, we'd love to tap into it.
Buck, we're going to take one more break.
Okay.
We're going to pay another bill. WFPC Podcasting is brought to you in part by the Log Ends Farm, Bed, and Breakfast. If you need a place to stay in Pike County or the surrounding area of southern Indiana, there is no place quite like the Log Ends Farm, Bed, and Breakfast. Just a couple, maybe 3 miles west of Petersburg at 2769 Indiana State Road 56. It is quaint, to say the least. It's peaceful. You're surrounded by nature and God's creations in a very traditional rural farm environment, which is what Steve and Donna set up to achieve years ago. And it is now passing down to the next generation of Courtney and AJ, but still under the watchful eyes of Donna. It is a traditional farm fare nestled in the countryside of southern Indiana, a working farm that grows grain, hay, livestock. It incorporates 2 vintage log cabins. It's a small personal touch operation, and they make you feel like family. Visit their website. It's log-ends.com and call today to book your charming retreat at 812-354-2129. Buck, we're back talking Little League, and you have shared with us a little bit of your history, and that helps set us up for this. There again, it's all about community. Walk us through your life to get you to this point. You were raised. Where'd you go to grade school?
I was an Otwell Miller.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Otwell, that moved into Pike Central.
Yep.
That moved into Pike Central High School.
Correct.
Did you play sports out there?
I did. I played football and wrestling in high school.
So were you involved in the Petersburg Little League program?
So I did. So like I said, I remember playing back whenever I was young. I didn't end up playing baseball whenever I got into high school. I switched over and more focused into the wrestling. I had some success there, but my dad was a coach, alongside John Ficklin was the main coach, and then my dad was an assistant coach. And I remember, I was a catcher, and I was probably because I wasn't very good, but I could at least get in front of a baseball, right? I just have those memories, and then I remember at the end of the season we would always have our party, and I remember going to Hornady Park, and we were doing fishing, and Frank Amos was one of the coaches at the time, and I remember that, like, those are good core memories from whenever I was growing up.
Mm-hmm. It's a great community, isn't it?
It is. It is.
What else do you need to ask the community for? What else do you have? Anything else written on your notes?
We have, like I said, we need volunteers for the February 28th and March 1st, like for the skills assessment. The deadline is the 27th of February. If you're procrastinating, like we have a tendency to do, please get those in before then. It's a hard deadline, and we don't want to make anybody upset because you miss it. So please show up, fill it out beforehand. April 11th is our scheduled opening day. So
that's a little later than normal, isn't it? Or
yeah.
not?
So we try to schedule around the spring fling for the middle school for the dance, and then prom, and you always have to kind of dodge some of those. Yeah. You want as much community support as what you can have for opening day. All the families are there. Every single team plays. They always do a pretty neat little parade with the kids, and there's way more candy on the side of the road than what there because there's nobody there to catch the candy.
I take the leftovers
Before the street sweeper gets it. It's not a bad play. You save it for Halloween the next year. You'll save yourself some money.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
Now those are the main dates we have coming up. And always looking for volunteers. It's 100. No one gets paid to do what we're doing. It's hundreds, if not thousands, of hours over the course of our time volunteering.
And do it out of the love for the kids and the community.
That's
and your investment into the future.
I want everybody's kids to be sitting like I am as a 38-year-old thinking about their time whenever they were playing at Petersburg Little League and the fun times they had, for sure.
Great. Buck, we so appreciate you coming in. Let's give your wife's phone number one more time.
It's 812-582-1136.
1136. 582-1136.
Yes.
And the president will set you up.
That's right.
She'll take care of you.
She'll take those things, and I'll just be the mower guy.
That's what you're striving for.
Yep. Maybe I'll get hired by Busch Stadium eventually, and I can go.
You can work the Zamboni machine.
Groundskeep for the Cardinals.
Do they still have the Zamboni machine?
I don't know.
Do you not even know what that is?
I know it's Zamboni for like ice hockey. I know what that is.
Well, they had. In fact, we called Kenny Reitz. You ever heard of him? The third baseman for the Cardinals, 70s, maybe into the 80s. He was the Zamboni machine, named after that piece of equipment because he scooped everything up.
Picked it. So we're with the Seger family. We're Phillies. We actually
Richie Luker is a Philly fanatic.
Yeah. Well, so I met Kyle Schwarber's sister at a canine trial, like when we would go do our testing in Ohio, and my son and I, we go to two baseball games every year. Like that's our thing we do together. And last year we went to the Philadelphia Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles, and I had reached out to his sister because I got to know her pretty well. And Kyle actually got us like tickets. We got to go down to the field. Hunter got to go in the dugout. We got to go back behind the scenes, like where all the interviews are and everything.
And this is in Philadelphia?
In Philadelphia, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he's got several autographed baseballs and pictures with all, yeah.
Isn't that fabulous?
It was pretty awesome. Like it's a once in a lifetime experience for sure.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah. Yep.
Lot of great memories around baseball, aren't there?
There are. I think that's why we love it so much.
Thanks for joining us for this program of WFPC Podcasting. As you notice, WFPC Podcasting is incorporating new sponsors to the program. Many thanks to Kyle Hathaway for his continued sponsorship, as well as Harris Real Estate and Petersburg Car Wash. Welcome to the Destin Schnare Agency, Schultz Eye Care, and the Log Ends Farm, Bed, and Breakfast. WFPC Podcasting is not as expensive as the overhead of a radio station, but there is still overhead, and we hope you thank our sponsors for their support. We hope to grow WFPC and its list of sponsors in the future to provide more quality programming. If I haven't seen you yet and you would like to be a sponsor, just text, call, or stop in at Harris Real Estate. We're right here. Please like the podcast and share with your friends so more people can hear about WFPC. You may find it on our website, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your favorite media. Join us next Friday for another WFPC podcast exploring the people, information, and news right here in Pike County. See you next week.
Thanks for watching WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. From back roads to town centers, we bring you the voices, stories, and news that shape our community. Join us on this journey through the past, present, and future of Pike County, Indiana. Tune in next week for the next episode of WFPC Podcasting.